Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, and welcome to another edition of Blogs with Boilon Friday, where we talk about all of the weekly news that shows up on the blog and everything else, event news and stuff and math. We'll take a look at that, which should be there for the upcoming event on Monday, which is the Spiderman Noir event launching. I also want to let people know that there's going to be a video coming out tomorrow that's going to go over the 7 clues that are going to be important to the Spiderman Noir event. I've done that with Dogbert, so look forward to that. And as always, things in this blog post upcoming, you never know what's going to happen. So just the warning out there that what you see in this video is subject to change because you never know when Scopely is going to pull the rug from underneath you. So with all that said and done, let's boil this down. Kind of had a bit of a mind blip there. I couldn't remember what to say, but before we get to the blog specifically, I want to kind of point out this blog post that appeared last night, and thank you everyone for playing Marvel Strike Force, because that was the title of the blog post where we got some free stuff at, I don't know, 5 p.m. or whenever we got it in the box, of 500 power cores, 25 shards, 1 gold orb, and 1 training orb, and this was basically supposed to be a goodwill offer for the mess up about the 5,000 power cores that happened a few weeks ago, or whenever that was, 2 weeks ago or something. And I asked Archangel a question on Reddit, to which, of course, there was no response. And I was curious to know whether or not these 5,000 cores were going to be available when it was originally intended, which was supposed to be for patch 6.5. The reason why I'm saying that is because there were some people who didn't take advantage of this. I believe there was a 3-day window, and I guess people forgot, or maybe they weren't paying attention, and they didn't manage to get this. This was supposed to be 5,000 power cores that was to encourage you to make a Scopely account and link that to your game. And so for those people who did miss that, I'm wondering if there will be an opportunity for those people to get it. But of course, Archangel doesn't really like to respond to me at all. So we don't know. But I hope that those people who did miss it, because I've had some people message me on Discord about that. I hope you guys get the opportunity to be able to do that. I also heard that there were some people who did actually get 10,000 power cores. I didn't see any complete evidence of this, but I think there was only I don't know how widespread it was, but allegedly there were a few people, at least that I'm aware of, that got that. There is no communication regarding that, though, of course. Let's get on to the actual blog post, though, for today, and this is Zombie Iron Man. We saw it actually at the bottom of here because it talked about it here. And Hela. And apparently the upcoming Marvel or MCU Zombies animated show is going to be really good, and that's what I've heard some news articles about so far. Let's talk about Night of the Living Avenger. This is the zombies from What If. There was an episode of that, Zombie Scarlet Witch as well. Maybe we'll get more than just Iron Man Zombie, and maybe they'll add more as we go on. Let's find out. So there's a lot of... I believe a lot of this is honestly just lore from the What If, but let's see what there's specifically to version 6.5. And for fans of the non-zombie Iron Man, he'll be getting a shiny new silver costume. Okay, so costume for Iron Man next patch. That's good. It's going to be a 2-person undying team with an updated Hela, at least for just now. This 1-2 punch will be monsters on Alliance War offense and capable of some of the top war defenses. I guess you could also add in Loki in here as well, because they have that Asgardian synergy too with Hela, so that might be possible. And of course, if he dies, then there's going to be another Greg and so on. A lot of this is just the lore on the character, so I'm not going to really go over that. Iron Man Zombie is a brawler, and ironically has high health stats. He uses his zombie powers to mind control his enemy via his basic, special, and passive ability. His passive ability is a special note because he mind controls an enemy who takes damage from bleed on their turn, regardless of who inflicted the bleed. Okay, so let's go on a little bit more. Let's read the kit. So Villain Global, Bio Brawler, Undying. What I do like though is that they're adding in more villain characters. Villains are super important, especially for lower level players, because there's not a lot of available good villains, and this is a struggle and pain point for a lot of people doing Scourge events where villains does pop up I believe, in every Scourge event so far. So his basic attack primary for 290 plus apply 2 bleed, and then mind control the primary target to attack the most injured enemy that does not have bleed. On war offense, this does more damage. Fill speed bar of all summoned, all Gregs by 30%. That's kind of interesting, actually. As a mechanic, characters killed by this attack cannot be revived. That's also kind of interesting as well. It doesn't seem like it does a significant amount of damage, though, so whether he'd have to get the kill shot on that, and I guess if you're in control, it should be a little bit easier, though. Undead Barrage, this is primary target for 450. It's low energy, 4 to 4. Plus apply bleed for 2 turns, disrupt for 2 turns, and so this is big. The ability block for 2 turns, that is big. Like, the others aside, anything that has an ability block for 2 turns, that is pretty good. He's probably going to be a little bit slower, though, on the speed, but still, that's still pretty good, especially when it comes to taking out certain characters that you really... Lots of characters that you really need to kind of turn one block. Fills speed bar for... So it looks like all of that gets the speed bar for the Undead Asgardians. Fill speed bar for a random ally, or Hela ally by 10%. We get the mind control again. And then 500% extra focus. So that's huge. The focus plus the ability block, that's a pretty good skill on the cooldown of 4. And it cannot be blocked, because blocking often not prevents, but, you know, makes it harder to land negative stats effects. Corrupted Unibeam, so this looks like it's turn 2. Clear all barrier on all enemies, and then attack for 500% piercing. That's a lot of damage. And 100% crit chance against anyone with bleed. Prolong the duration of all negative effects, excluding trauma and stun on all enemies by 1. So it's AoE, clear all barrier AoE, piercing damage, and prolongs. That's a really good skill. And actually, it's outside of war. A lot of this is... I haven't seen any war yet, except for at the bottom here, I see that. Fill speed bar by Undead Asgardians, so all of them, all the attacks. And then another defense up. Oh, wait, hold on. What? Defense up for 2 turns to all enemies? Is that supposed to be defense up to allies? Or defense down to enemies? I didn't read the kits that were released, the leak kits. I didn't look at that, so I'm not sure what this is supposed to be. Let me know in the comments down below, though. Characters killed by this attack cannot be revived, and that's really interesting because it's AoE. So if it does enough damage to outright kill people, just like across the board, that is really, really good. And there could be some uses for that, and it's outside of war, actually, which is also pretty interesting. 1500% extra focus, so that's really good, too. Yeah, good skill there, but a very long cooldown, so you're not going to use it very frequently. On war offense, if Hela is an ally, clear all charged from the primary target and enemies with the higher resistance. So charges is good. Are you going to be able to use this against heroes for hire? I wonder. Undead Asgardians passives here. Undead upgrades. On spawn, gain defense up for 2 turns. Okay, so survivability, 50% max health. That's good. More of this mind control stuff. Non-summoned Undying ally. So 50% health more to Hela, which is pretty interesting. On top of the passive that she already has as well. If Hela is an ally, 100% chance to revive with 50%. Wow. So she's always doing that? Wow, so you have to kill Hela before this guy. That's funny. On war offense, a lot of extra stuff as well. If this character's health is greater or equal to 50%, stun cannot be applied to this character. Enemies cannot gain death proof. Pretty interesting kit. Oh my god, Hela is getting a whopping 80% health increase. That is pretty huge. Damage-wise, she wasn't that bad as it was, but these are pretty good survivability boosts, and I'll be doing a video on this to compare the before and after for what Hela's going to be, because this could be quite something, and I'd be really curious to see where she stacks up after the case. Anything of real note, some bleed here on the basic, call a random Iron Man zombie, and more bleeds on the special. New spread all, if Iron Man zombie, spread all negative effects on the primary target instead, not spread stun. So that's fine. Apply 2 regen, yeah. Oh, 5,000% extra focus, that's really nice actually, in terms of spreading the negative stats effects. Will this make Hela more viable to user for lower level accounts to actually want to bring her up? Because she is actually a good character, she has a good kit, and that's why I want to see where her stats stack up. You know, is it worth it for, say, my baby account who's like level 71 and kind of lacks villain characters? Would this be enough to convince me to bring Hela up? Maybe, and I'll have to see what it looks like after the case, because I may do so. And then we, of course, the passive didn't... Oh, that's the new one, sorry. Yeah, stealth for Zombie Iron Man, and most likely, yes, the health as well for Undying Allies, and the damage and war to Undying Allies. And then when this character drops below 50% health, if Zombie Iron Man is an ally, summon an Undead Asgardian and apply taunt to all Undead Asgardians. Trigger once per match. I don't know if that's super OP, is it? I mean, I guess it just makes you force them to have to hit the Undead Asgardian, but it's only one extra one. It's not crazy. Alright, so let me know what you think about Zombie Iron Man in this Undying twosome down below. I don't typically, buy into war characters, but Zombie Iron Man might be a good character to build for non-endgame accounts, mainly because they're villain characters, and there's a huge lack of good villain characters, so that might be a reason to want to build them. Their kits are actually pretty good, and we know that as characters get released, power creep is at an all-time high. So, Night of the Spider, this is the Spiderman Noir event. We're going to get the math specifically here. A lot of this stuff we already really knew, and I've already gone over this in other videos, so I'm going to just skip ahead a little bit. It does seem that collect evidence is 3,000 points, so I didn't know what this point value would be worth. And when I talk about it in tomorrow's video, I had already pre-recorded it before the blog, so I didn't know this part. Not super important, but we do go over the 7 hints as in terms of what we think it's going to be when the event goes live on Monday. Battle and War for 300 points, and 4 points for 1 campaign energy. I'm going to open this up. This is the main milestone, so let's see what we have. Looks like 200,000 there at the bottom is the final milestone, but where do we need to get to? 77,500 for the item. But there's going to be Spider-Man Noir shards at 93,000, 20 shards here, 35 here, and 60. So how many total shards are up for grabs? There are some other unlimited X-Men shards in here as well. Not too many, like 5 and 10. I didn't think it was going to be that crazy. So Spider-Man Noir, so 5, 10, 20, 30, 45, 70, 100. So you need to get to 64,500 for an unlock. And then there's 120, 155, and 215? Unless I'm missing something somewhere. 215 shards? So clearly you need to get to the very end for a 4-star, but that's probably not going to happen. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that this is probably not happening, so you're probably going to be getting, what did I say, 215 minus 60, so 155 shards. That's what it seems like. You could probably get to 117,000. That's just my opinion without even looking at the math clearly, but you always know that these last few milestones are whaley, so that's what we're getting in this one. And we have the Spider Shadowed, so this is the Crucible one. Again, I will have the math for this on Sunday. I'm not going to, obviously, I don't have time to punch it in right now to do that, and we'll be looking ahead for that. Crucible wins, though. Super important. Now, I think to make this easier, you're going to want to make sure that you have as many offensive teams as possible to make sure you get those Crucible wins. This is even more important if you're at the higher end of Crucible, where people like to stack defenses, so you're not going to get these points if you don't win. However, if you have unlimited X-Men, of course, make sure you take them off the defense as well, because you're going to need to use them in offense in order to get additional points. Really, really important. You do get bonus points for having 5, 6-star or 7-star characters. We'll see how important that is later on. 13,000 points is the milestone, and you have 3 days to do that. So just some quick head math. There's 6 rooms, right? So 750 times 18 times 10 would be 7,500. So 13,000. You know what? This is probably doable, but you do need to have, if you don't have unlimited X-Men, you need to basically win everything. If you do have unlimited X-Men, then you don't need to win everything. So that's plus just off the top of my head right there. And obviously it's really important because this stuff is all going to funnel into the main milestone. The hard-boiled milestone, this is blitzing with unlimited X-Men. So 60 points per win, additional points for this stuff. We'll see if it's additive or not, because when we had the Young Avengers thing, it wasn't additive. They actually just took the highest value. So if you were like at this point, you would get 90, but you wouldn't get like 60 plus 90, if that makes makes sense. You would only get whatever the higher value is per each of your characters. So I don't know. We'll see what it is when it actually goes live, and I'll do the math accordingly for that. And of course, this is going to be really important to clear because all of this is going to funnel back into the main milestone. There is an easy raid one, a raid milestone here. So what am I looking at? Do 1 raid battle 50. Oh, you need 400 points. So that's just 8 raid battles. Pretty easy to do as well, and you just get some random crap, some milestone points as well, actually. Legacy orbs and a quarter of a training orb fragment. The clues and evidence didn't really say much here. I think you'll get more out of it when we talk about it in tomorrow's video. They're just basically telling you that you're going to get a clue in your inbox once a day. So that's that. Keep an eye out for my video tomorrow. Coordinated Assault, coming back around October the 19th. Now, we just finished one of them now, and we're getting it again next Wednesday. Lucky for my alliance, we did push for that final milestone, which was important to get those 2,500 spider genes. I don't know if we're going to need it for the month long by the end for the 500k, but, you know, every little bit helps. So, yeah, lucky for me, but not all the alliances are able to push to this final 141k. Already done a video on that, so look back on my channel if you need to about how much you need to do for that. Web of Shadows, this is just a quick Rumble Shadowland, so not important there. 3-star, you get some gear, special bonuses for your blitzing if you have 3-star characters, though, unlike what it was before. It's a little bit easier for newer players to do this stuff than it was in the past for September, so they did make it a little bit easier there, so I'm thankful for that. Of course, we have the Famine Saga, which will be going live at the end of this current Famine event, so not going to really talk too much about there. Very similar to how it was for Pestilence. You'll just have to use D1 and D2. You have to complete D2 if you want to get the ability buffs for Rogue, so just keep that in mind as well. That's right here. You can see all the details here. Pretty much the exact same as Pestilence. We'll see how the difficulty is, though, on the individual nodes, and if it's worth me doing a video on, then maybe I'll do that next week. And, oh, Milestone Orb 3. On October the 19th. Oh my god, that's on next Wednesday. We'll replace the current Orb 2 when the Orb goes live. Kestrel and Death... What? But they're already in the Premium Orb. What? You gotta be shitting me. That's like a weird fucking cop-out. Make sure you open all your existing Milestone Orb 2s if you haven't already. Sorry for that pause there. I think this is kind of fucked up. They're just transferring Kestrel and Deathpool from the... So, hold on. Maybe we got more details here. Braun is going into the Orbs on October the 18th. Icarus and Cersei. Okay. I'm not surprised in the slightest at all. Premium Orb exclusives for Icarus and Cersei replacing Kestrel and Deathpool. As a reminder, they'll be in the feature for Milestone Orb 3. So that means, though, that Emma Frost particularly must be going somewhere else, right? Otherwise, she's nowhere. So if she's not in the Milestone Orb 2, which she's been kicked out of, they didn't mention that, so I don't know, because you can't currently find her anywhere else. We'll find out next week. Maybe this needs some further clarification. Weekly events, Chaos Theory, Ghost Rider, Blitz, and Quick Rumble. Of course, everyone, you never know in this game. Everything is subject to change, even the blog, actually, especially the blog, and any of the details, math events, and all that. Again, like I said, look forward to the Spiderman Noir video that's going to be going out tomorrow, my math video on his event for Sunday, and then we'll see from there. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, everyone, and I hope you do. And until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.